The Proteas have just crashed against Australia. They're now trailed 2-1 in the series, and the Springboks have announced their team to face Italy on Saturday. To discuss these two topics, I've got in studio the guys from Sport24, editor Garen Lamley and Herman Mostert, who's our cricket pro today. Herman, I hope I got your surname right there.
Sounded all right.
Yeah, we'll start with the cricket. What happened? AB and Hash were cruising along. It seemed like we were going to, as we know, big Australian totals are never really that difficult to chase down by guys. They've proven that.
Yeah,
What happened?
It was a tough score to chase. 330 is not on any. It doesn't matter how good the pitch is. It was quite a good batting pitch. And we seem to be going well there with AB and Hash going at, I think we needed 121 of 90 balls at one stage. And then AB got out, and then Hash followed him just after that, which obviously wasn't ideal. And then if you're chasing a big score like that and the run rate's over 6 and you lose a wicket, it's always tough.
A couple of our guys again sort of failing to make any sort of impression. Faf du Plessis, he's been brilliant in Australia in previous visits.
Yeah, look,
again, not really scoring.
Today, but I think a player like Grady Rousseau, I think he's had a few chances now. He hasn't really come to the party. I think he's apart from the 70 odd he scored in the T20 game, he hasn't really made any runs in. I think he's played 7 or 8 one-day games now, and his average is around 12, 13. So that's 70 not good enough for him. He's a really talented player. But the guy he's really struggling, and especially with the World Cup in Australia next year, he would have wanted to use this series as an opportunity to play himself in, which he hasn't done. Hopefully there's 2 games left for him to play. Maybe he can do something there. But I think definitely he would be the guy really worried at the moment, I think.
And do you think the rest of our one-day selections are right? I mean, David Miller kind of redeemed himself in the first 2 games, but then again he went cheeky
He won
today.
sort of at the tail end last. On Sunday when we played, we struggled to chase a very low total, and he took us over the line there with a 20 odd, which was really a good score under pressure on a pretty good bowling wicket. And he's made a few runs in the T20 series. He made runs at the back end as well, so I think he's doing all right. Today he was unfortunate. He got out from the LBW, which wasn't out. It was clearly missing leg stump. But yeah, speaking about selections, I think on the bowling front, for instance, I think we're definitely missing a bowler there. I mean,
AB was bowling.
He was bowling 6 overs today. Farhan Berardine actually bowled pretty well, but I mean, you can't expect of him to bowl, to bowl 7, 8 overs every one-day game. So. I think maybe a guy like Ryan McLaren should probably come back in for the last 2. I'm not sure, but he's also been struggling for form. So I think selection-wise, they've got some issues there. I think they're definitely missing JB Duini with his off spinners and his all-round abilities with the bat, definitely. So that sort of the balance of the team's not quite right at the moment.
Garen, I guess let's not take anything away from Australia. Finch getting a ton. And then their bowlers, this Hazelwood guy, causing us problems again. Stark, 4 wickets for 32. I mean, they really applied the pressure.
Yeah, you've got to take your hat off to Australia. They did really, really well today. Firstly, with the bat, they probably ended up with at least 50 runs more than they should have. Our death bowling wasn't that good. It proved again to be a problem. Every bowler travelled, and Berardine was actually our best bowler at the end, which nobody would have predicted that at all. It didn't help that Tahir looked like he was injured. He didn't come out and bat, so that's a problem. Heading into the 4th ODI on Friday already. So we're going to have some spin issues there. Certainly, like we mentioned, we don't want AB bowling more than 1 or 2 overs at most. Certainly not 6. So issues there. And then when it came to our batting, the middle order to lower order collapse again. Batsmen just not scoring at 2 runs a ball. Everyone's like 12 off 12 or 15 off 15 sort of thing. Whereas you look at the Australian order, they had Steve Smith come in, hit 72 odd or 50 odd balls. That's sort of the thing you're looking for in the middle to back end of an ODI innings. So South Africa certainly have a lot to work on. I did predict we'd win the series. I guess we can still win a 3-2. But at the moment, it doesn't look like we're in the pound seats there. It certainly looks like Australia, who also made a number of changes. Steve Smith was back for this game. Mitchell Johnson was resting for the rest of the series. But the bowlers that they have brought back really, really performed well. So they're now going to build on the confidence. Like we talked, Proteas have an ideal preparation in Australia, only 2 months from the Cricket World Cup, the one country that will be there playing. Australia obviously at home will want to perform, and it certainly looks like the momentum has swung in their favour. So all to do for South Africa in the 2 remaining matches on Friday and Sunday.